How do you break up? Or do you maybe just do a super conference like the European football want to do the European Super League with the big schools, with the big teams? Maybe you're going to see that in college sports. A super conference. Well, it's Division I, but it's the super Division I teams, and then you'll have everybody else.
Could you imagine something like that?
I could see that happening. Sponsored by, who knows, Amazon, or just name anybody. A big company. Comcast. I mean, I don't know what they are.
It's unfortunate too. I mean, you don't want to see these conferences dissolve into nothingness. But you look back on it, right? The Big East used to be one of those conferences back during. I mean, like you look back at you look back at what is it, like 20, 30 years ago? Big East used to have some pretty big players there, and Big East is pretty much, well, it's non-existent anymore. It's now the AAC, and they split up there for the most part. And you wonder, like, hey, what will happen to the Big 12 then too?
And what else does it do? When you have so many teams in a conference, it takes away your rivalry games. You're not going to see everybody play everybody every year. Just not going to happen because it's too many teams. Unless, of course, they want, even though we know how much the NCAA really cares for their students. We all know that. That's paramount. Their number one most important thing is caring for the students and making sure that they get the education that they deserve. I expect them to expand the schedule as well.
Oh,
you'll see. It'll happen.
Man. Yeah. To answer your first question, though, those power conferences, I mean, you already get the Power Five. Well, now I guess it would maybe be the Power Four conferences. Man, I hate it now because if it continues to move down this path where it's like, hey, now we're just going to have one specific conference here for football. We're going to have one elite conference, and it's going to have, maybe, as you alluded to, maybe a significant amount more teams. They're going to make more money, which is always what drives those teams in that particular location. That being said, you kind of feel bad for the little guys, the odd man out.
Hey, that's what happens when you decide that when you let money rule the day, that's what happens. It's just the next logical step. And you'll see it. You've seen the shift. You've seen it.
Yeah.
It's come over the last, 15, 20 years. Seen it coming.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about the name, image, and likeness. Adrian there saying, hey, TJ Grumpy Old Man, what's up? How you doing today?
Yo, Adrian. Tampa Bay Bucks, baby. Oh. Getting ready to roll for repeat.
Bill Brady.
I hate. You know what I hate saying that I hate? It's going to run it back. Stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's run it back, baby. Let's run it back.
Stupid.
It makes me want to utilize that word combination a little more often. Bill Brady there saying, hi, guys, and D-Cut. They're saying, chiming in there saying, sleeves optional on the show now, huh?
D-Cut, I didn't hear about – he was not on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast yesterday. TJ, let me ask you a question. If people like this podcast, what should they do?
Oh, thank you for reminding me, Grumpy. Yes, again, if you like this podcast, make sure that you subscribe, you follow us there on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Again, we go live every single Sunday at 8 o'clock, even though we were running a little late today. We go live every single Sunday, 8 o'clock there, and we go live usually on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. But I think we're going to be changing that to Thursdays at 8 o'clock. So just have your eyes out there. But I think we're going to be going Thursdays, 8 o'clock there, and then on Sunday, 8 o'clock.
All right. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do whatever those things that you have to do.
Hit all the buttons you need to hit, right?
I mean, TJ wants this podcast to be popular, but he does nothing to promote it. He doesn't tell people what to do. I don't understand.
Oh, no worries, Grump. That being said, that would be a huge blow. I think Texas and Oklahoma, you talk about some money there, some funding. They always bring huge fan bases. There are an ultimate amount of eyes that are always on Oklahoma, always on Texas. And I'm going to throw something out here too. For the players, again, usually football's king. That, I think, gives their athletes a chance. Well, football's king. I mean, basketball also drives big numbers in that capacity, but football's king. That's going to give their athletes, I think, even more of a chance to earn more through their name, image, and likeness. So I think that makes everybody a little bit happier in that facet too.
This thing is taking off way faster than I thought it ever would. Way faster. It's
name, image, and likeness.
My God. Unbelievable. I think you might see maybe what'll happen is it'll keep kids in school longer. That's the only thing I can think. There is so much money being thrown at these athletes right now. But, that's what happens anytime anything new starts. Remember when free agency first started, man, people just throwing money at it. So now you're seeing businesses just throw money at these players.
Yes, and a perfect example of this right here, Alabama quarterback. And mind you, Byrce Young, I think it only attempted 22 passes, had 1 touchdown there in his time at Alabama last year. Relatively didn't get much time on the field. A very, very highly heralded prospect, though, and recruit, #1 rated quarterback there. I think it was on ESPN, 24/7 Sports, etc. Again, a very, very highly rated individual. Nick Saban said, though, our quarterback has already approached ungodly numbers, and he hasn't even really played yet. If I told you what it is, it's almost 7 figures. Now this was done. Now this was about a week ago that this came out 5 days ago. That's the unfortunate part of only doing the one podcast this week, but I wouldn't doubt it at all if he's close to $1 million there total. Byrce Young.
Okay, there is no such thing as amateurism anymore. It's over, done, finished, over. They can never say that it's about amateur athletics anymore. Cannot do it. As soon as you crack open that can and let the athletes start getting paid for whatever, you're going to see the big teams like Alabama are going to bring even the more. I remember I sound disjointed. I understand.
You do sound disjointed.
I do. I understand because
interrupt you if you need me to give you a break.
This is such a deep, deep story, right? When it first came out, where people are going to use the image and licensing for the players. What were they saying? Well, what it'll do, it'll mean that it'll spread the wealth among all the schools. So all the big schools won't get all the best players. It'll produce more parity. And what did I say? No freaking way. Because now you're finding legal ways to pay athletes to go to the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Oklahomas, the Notre Dames. You're going to see that. And this kid's going to make over $1 million. He's thrown 7 passes in his whole career. And
he's 22 attempts.
Okay. 20. Has he even completed 7? I can't even remember.
13. I think 13 completions.
He's incredible. I can complete 13 passes.
Oh, stop. Come on.
Okay. $7 million. He's going to make $1 million in his first year as a starter. Why? Because he goes to Alabama. So if I'm a kid, I'm going to say, well, gosh, I'm going to Alabama because look, I can make upwards $3, $4, $5 million a year if I'm any good going to a big school like that. Not piddly pump you.
Not piddly pump you. That's I don't blame him either. And I think that's exactly what you're going to see. A guy who's a top-rated guy. And that's why I think that this bodes well for Texas and Oklahoma, because I believe the SEC school teams, just based off of the name and the rep, they're going to get paid. Oklahoma and Texas always sell themselves. That being said, I think if they were to make a move to the SEC, I think the players would have, a little bit more of a chance to earn more through name, image, and likeness there as well. So man, oh man, though, Byrce Young nearing $1 million. It's $1 million. Not even really played that much.
The next few years are going to be absolutely crazy in the NCAA. They should have had some type of guidelines or something, because like I said, it's like the Wild West out there. That's what it is. Hey, maybe the marshal will roll through town once every 6 months. That's about it. These guys will be able to do whatever they want.
Well, I told you, I wondered if this was part of the NCAA's plan as well. If they said we could go ahead and just open up the floodgates and let all this craziness come in, and then we'll have a little less control short term. But long term, people will say we need some sort of governing body. You need to go ahead and limit this in some capacity and gives them back more of their control. I always wondered if they're trying to play a few moves out ahead, because the NCAA has had such a stranglehold and an unjust stranglehold on the players. And now you're seeing it's just crazy. It's crazy what these players are getting paid. Good for them. I'm glad they're getting paid. But $1 million really for 22 pass attempts.
It's pretty good. But
hey, sign me up. I need to start warming up the arm again. Maybe I got a year of eligibility still left in the tank.
Yeah. Good luck trying to put the genie back in that bottle.
Yeah, once you let the horse out of the stables, you don't have much control of that horse.
You remember I Dream of Jeannie? Do you remember that TV show?
I've never seen that TV show.
It was great. They had Barbara Eden. That was the first time they ever showed like a woman's midriff on television. And she was a little hottie patati. Larry Hagman, who was also on Dallas, he was Tony Nelson. And, you know, he was an astronaut. And he landed his capsule on a desert island somewhere, and he found a genie bottle. And, you know, oh, well, what can I tell you?
There it is. A D-Cunt asking question, will jealousy creep into the college locker rooms now that some guys are making tons of money and others are not? I think it's actually interesting you asked that. So Chapel Hill has just recently come out with a group licensing to where now they could try to go ahead and get it to where they're going to pool all the players. You know, if we sign XYZ deal with Bojangles or sign XYZ deal with McDonald's, you know, we can go ahead and take some pictures or do some sort of like marketing or promotional campaign, and all the players could profit there from it. So I think that might help. That might help kind of alleviate a little bit of that. But I could definitely see there being some jealousy in the locker room for certain. These are young athletes. A lot of them are young individuals, 18, 19, 20 years old. I could definitely see jealousy and unrest in the locker rooms. So, I mean, it's anytime you're talking about money in large quantities like that, I can easily see that now, because Nick Saban's not playing me. I'm the better player in practice. Not only am I not playing on game days, but now I'm missing out on thousands of dollars when I'm the better wide receiver. I'm the better running back. I'm the better quarterback. You're going to see that. And the amount of players who are looking to transfer when they're not getting paid is going to elevate too.
Okay. Think about it. I just find it interesting that North Carolina, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, they've been thinking about this for a while. They saw the writing on the wall. This is the same school that created for their basketball team and their football team the African American Studies class, where no one had to go, but they'd all get A's. There was no such class, but they all got A's. I just find it interesting that was just to keep them eligible to stay in school to play sports. And now they're saying, maybe they saw this thing. Well, what happens? I don't want to look at that jealousy aspect. I don't want player X being jealous of player A. So what do? We're going to do a group marketing thing so everybody gets paid. What does it do? It kind of puts a little salve on the wounds, on those little hurt egos. I just find it interesting that's North Carolina, and kudos to them for being creative here, but they know it's all about the money. They know it. And their starting quarterback and Clemson's starting quarterback just signed deals with Bojangles. That's the last chance chicken saloon. If you're not good enough to go to Chick-fil-A or some other good chicken establishment that's any good, you go to Bojangles, the last chance chicken saloon. If you can't make it there, it's right to the garbage can.
If you can make it there, right to the garbage can. No, I do think this is very proactive. They were the first people to jump on that. A good on to it there for Chapel Hill. Hopefully that will help relieve some of maybe the jealousy you're going to have in the locker room. But to answer your question, D-Cut, yeah, for certain. You're going to have jealous people in the locker room. You're going to have people pissed off because there's always players that think they're better than other players out there on the field because they're always really close. And one coach might like a way a guy moves a little more. He might like, the on-field decision-making he has, even though you're a better player out there during game days. He might like the way you practice. And long story short, there's always going to be jealousy of who's getting playing time. Now when you start adding money and dollars in on that too, ooh, yeah, I could see that being a little bit of an issue.
It's like one podcast member thinking that they're better than the other podcast member.
I don't know what you're alluding to, Grump.
I don't either. I'm just saying. It's like that, too. It could be like that also.
Yeah, goodness. Alexander saying, hey, good evening, guys. Turning a little late. Had dinner with the family.
Alexander, don't feel bad, because if you know TJ. He's always late with the podcast. You didn't miss hardly anything. He was late as usual.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, and then Alexander was also saying there, yeah, I'm actually thinking that in the locker room there could be some jealousy for certain.
You're seeing guys in high school getting paid money now. Think about that. In high school.
I think it's after you go ahead and commit and say, I'm going to XYZ school, then they could technically get paid.
I thought I heard that a 16-year-old was guaranteed to make money. I mean, I read that 2 weeks ago. I just think this is a game changer when it comes to sports. And here's the thing. I think the kids should be allowed to make money, but there's going to be a lot of problems along the way.
They're definitely going to have to go ahead and sort and get some sort of authority and a governing body over that. As much as I hate saying that, because I'm not a fan of shackling creativity and what players can make, but they're going to have to do something in some capacity. There's going to have to be some sort of oversight as to how much. I hope it's as minimal as possible, but it's the Wild West out there. Good, the players are getting paid. I'm happy for them.
We're going to look back on this 5-10 years from now and say, oh, the innocent times. Yeah, we remember them. Remember them well.
Oh, goodness gracious. Alexander saying, do you guys think Aaron Rodgers will retire? Glad you brought that up. That's another point we're going to be talking about here today. And
why don't you hit it now? Why don't you hit it now?
We Thanks, Grumpy. We are. Sure. I got it. Thank you there, Grumpy. That being said, everybody is speculating here after Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams posted this picture of Scottie Pippen there and Michael Jordan from The Last Dance, that they're alluding that Aaron Rodgers is retiring or going to be announcing his retiring. And now, as of recent, too, Davante Adams said he is no longer going to be speaking about a long-term contract extension with the Green Bay Packers. And it also was confirmed on Tuesday that Ian Rappaport said that the Green Bay Packers made an offer to Aaron Rodgers to be the highest-paid quarterback in the NFL, and he turned the offer down.
Well, all I have to say is the only people I feel bad for are the Green Bay fans. That's all. But I'm not a Green Bay fan, so, oh well. You know what it means? It means my boy Tom Brady's got a clear path to the Super Bowl.
It's hard to believe, and every single time I see more of the controversy rear its head there with Aaron Rodgers, all I can think about is what Brett Favre said. This is a guy who's estranged from his family, doesn't talk to his family, and hasn't there for many, many years. And all I can think about is the situation that's going on there and that point where I could definitely think this guy can hold a grudge and says, nope, I'm just going to sit out.
He's a strange cat, Aaron Rodgers. He's really weird. Now, normally anybody else, I would say no. They're not going to retire. But this guy, he draws a freaking line in the sand, and he just goes with it. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, I think it is possible. Do I think it's going to happen? I'm going to say no. I don't think it's going to happen. Not this year.
So I'm just going to tell you, they've got sports gambling websites that are out there saying, hey, we are taking the odds that Aaron Rodgers retires on XYZ date. So, there's anywhere there's money to be had, people are going to be getting in on the gambling action.
Well, you know what? Aaron Rodgers should – if somebody's betting on Aaron Rodgers' decision, he should cash in on that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put $25 million on I'm going to retire on this such and such a date. Cha-ching!
I don't think you can do that, can you?
Why not? Bet on anything, can't you? I think so. Oh, look at the fire hydrant. D-Cut, who's listening to the podcast right now, doesn't realize that TJ and I have had this little running thing where TJ doesn't want to cap his drink because he's superior and he'd never spill it. Well, yesterday we were late to the podcast because TJ spilled the fire hydrant.
Oh, there it is. I know Grumpy gets his little giggles about that for certain. But also showing this, I do feel bad for the Green Bay fans. Man, oh man, you talk about what was mind-bogglingly and mind-numbingly stupid regarding their draft 2 years ago when they drafted Jordan Love, they drafted A.J. Dillon. I can't remember the tight end they drafted as well. They made all these picks for duplicate players really that they didn't need, that didn't improve the team. And now this year, hey, you're getting news that Aaron Rodgers is going to retire and that Davante Adams has broken off long-term extension talks. So now, sources are saying that they're looking not only for a quarterback replacement because Jordan Love is not the answer there, but they're also looking for a new number one receiver. Oh, my God.
Well, you don't know how you stop all that stuff? You pay everybody a base salary. Every single player in the league gets paid a base salary, and then you get paid based on performance. And that's how your bonus structure is done. And then it's fair for everybody.
What?
You heard me.
How the hell are you going to determine how are you going to determine, how are you going to determine what the difference bonus structure is for offensive linemen or even defensive linemen? Some systems you don't get a chance to make tackles as a defensive lineman. You're a plugger, but you might be an important piece. Because I'm not making tackles, I'm not going to get paid my bonus?
Well, yours is not getting blown off the ball 3 yards. Depending on position, there's something you could figure it out. For an offensive lineman like yourself, not giving up multiple sacks in a game, or not jumping off sides, or no holding penalties. You get paid more for that. Every position will have its own salary structure. There's a way to do it.
I disagree with that big time. I have no issue at all with players getting paid on the free market the way they do. No issue at all. I'm not a fan of that, Grumpy. That's the first time you've presented that, but I'm not down for it.
There are ways to do it. Is all I'm saying. There are ways.
Got a few comments here also from Alexander saying there, hey, Grumpy, have you ever heard of the movie called The Jerk?
My name is David Johnson. I was born a poor black child.
That's a yes then.
Steve Martin in The Jerk.
Alexander says it. Oh, God, Grumpy, that ugly shirt.
You know, when I put it on today, and I did it because training camp's open today. That's the reason why I put the Buccaneers, Super Bowl champion Tom Brady led Buccaneers. That's why I put the shirt on. And I did think about you, Alexander. Thank you.
Did you really? Well, Alexander actually wanted me to go ahead and show you an image here, Grump. He wanted me to go ahead and show you this. I know it's going to be tough for you to see all of these, but it's coming. It's trying to take a little dig at Tom Brady, at the GOAT, your favorite, grumpy old man. He's got 5 fingers held up there. One of the blank fingers, Eli Manning, or 2 of the blank fingers there for Eli Manning, and one of the blank fingers there, Nick Foles. And then every single one of these, he's got a different reason as to why Brady won, none of them attributing to Tom Brady. The Pats defense, the Falcons choked, Malcolm Butler there, the Tuck rule, the Buccaneers defense, D Ford, and Spygate. Man, oh man. I'll tell you, when you're at the top, at the tippity top, there's a lot of people trying to pick at you and trying to find ways and holes in what you do.
Does any other player have those rings, that many rings? Nope.
Unless
you want to know who else doesn't? You want to know who the whole franchise doesn't have that many rings? No franchise has that many rings. You want to know who definitely doesn't? The Miami Dolphins.
Oh, goodness. Eli chiming in saying, what's the over-under that the Jets win? 3.5 wins for the Jets.
Over.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think so, too. I think, I mean, there's going to be growing pains, but 3.5, I think, is attainable.
I like Robert Saleh as a coach. He's a no-nonsense guy. I think he'll do a good job there. And I think that they'll be better at the end of the year than the beginning. Zach Wilson is going to have some growing pains, but the kid's got real talent. Let's see if the Jets ruin him. That's always fun for a laugh.
Oh, man. He's going to be a guy who's going to take some time to learn, but I've always liked the raw tools there that Zach Wilson has.
Think about the last time the Jets had a quarterback who panned out. Chad freaking Pennington. Chad Pennington was the last one. He was drafted, I believe, the same year as Tom Brady. Oh, those many, many years ago.
People might try to argue and say Mark Sanchez because he did.
What?
I'm just going to tell you, people might try to argue Mark Sanchez somewhat panned out.
No. I don't know who those people are.
I'm just saying I could see
mental institutions, perhaps.
Okay, Grumpy. Aaron G also saying, goodbye, Rodgers. Let's go, Lions.
You know what? I love the Lions logo. I think their coach is a buffoon. But, man, I love their logo. I root for them every single Thanksgiving day. Every Thanksgiving, I root for the Lions.
Eli also saying, any thoughts on the production from ESPN2 there, the events so far for the NHL? In my opinion, they've been fairly underwhelming, but at least the ratings have been good. And
that's what the NHL is looking for. They want to increase the popularity of the sport, and being on NBC Sports Network just wasn't doing it. And you can say what you want about ESPN. I think the programming is horrible across the board, but they still have the name value. So you're going to see increased viewership, but I agree. The actual production value is just terrible. They have the wrong people there. They need more lively people in that group. I'm sorry.
Rick DiPietro is going to be one of the commentators there on ESPN2. He's a guy with a big person. I like Ricky D. I mean, you know, as many issues he did have there with the Islanders, staying healthy, etc., overdrafted, you name it. I like his personality.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. I'm sorry. They need somebody else. Somebody with a vivacious personality. Somebody with an opinion.
Are you saying that your name should be thrown in the hat there, Grumpy?
I should have got the job over AJ Molesko, I can tell you that much.
Oh, goodness.
I'm way more talented than she is.
D-Cut is crying. He said he'll learn as he ages, Grump. Always cap your bottle, TJ. It was funny. I was getting up. I wanted to cool off the house because I got these lights that heat me up. And I kicked it over. I was like, oh, man, it was one of those drinks that had like a food dye in it or a color there in it. And it just knocked over and it turned the rug a different color temporarily.
What a dope.
Oh, goodness gracious. Aaron GL said, what's the over-under? 6 wins for the Lions.
Their coach. I think they're under 6.
Yeah, I know you don't like their coach. I like their coach, Grump.
They got Jared Goff as their quarterback.
Yeah.
There you go. Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. Look.
I like Dan Campbell. I think it's going to be a redemption time for Dan Campbell. I'm pulling hard for Dan Campbell.
You know how bad he was? He coached the Dolphins for a while.
Oh,
Alexander.
Oh, man, Grumpy. Decon also chiming in thoughts on the new Cleveland Indians name, Grumpy. Now, I'll make sure I will pull up here for you the actual image, the logo for you, Grumpy. But you're not a big fan of the Guardians?
No. Do you want to know why they were named the Cleveland Indians years ago?
Why?
Because the first Major League Baseball player was an Indian from Cleveland. That's how they got the initial Cleveland Indians names. I mean, if you wanted to change the logo, fine, from Chief Yahoo or Wahoo, whatever he was, that's fine. That's terrible. What is that, like a combination of the old Angels logo, the California Angels back in the day?
It's funny you mentioned that. As soon as I saw it, I'm going to pull up. I thought the likeness that it pays tribute there, almost to like the Los Angeles Angels, is exactly right, Grumpy. I saw it. I'm like, man, oh man, are they trying to pay homage there to the Angels' old logo?
They just think everyone who remembers that's probably dead.
I was about to say it reminds me a little bit because it may be just the wing, but this Angels logo is
that wasn't their first one. That wasn't their first one.
This Angels logo right here is a million times better than the Cleveland Guardians logo. I mean, you're looking at the Guardians logo, man, oh man. Can we talk about how hideous it looks?
I mean, GG. I don't know. It's terrible. It's terrible.
The way it's been rendered and the way the image looks, it looks cheap. It looks cheesy. I don't know if this is like, hey, this is what our prototype is. This is what you would go into a board meeting saying, hey, we've been throwing some ideas together. Here's about a list of 50 different ideas we have. This is the image I would expect to see. This is not the image where you go and say, this is the image we're going to come out with. And you say, let's just run with it, guys. This looks perfect. I mean, look at the way the image is structured. The lines are just not, they're not aesthetically pleasing. Oh, man, I'm disgusted by this image.
Would you run out and buy merchandise that it looks like a bad minor league logo? That's what it looks like to me. Bad minor league logo. Would you go out and buy merchandise that had that on there?
Hell no. Not
me. If you want to have Guardians, why not have like a guy, like, a guardian at a gate or something like that? Not this. This is terrible. Terrible.
Oh. I'll be honest with you. Like, you look at even the minor leagues. I mean, the Banana Slugs are a minor league organization. I think they've got a better looking logo than this. And not only that, it almost looks like they went to Outback Steakhouse or one of those places they hand out kids menus and they say, hey, kids, we're going to go ahead and be doing a poll. We're going to be going ahead and launching a campaign. Whoever draws the best logo, we're going to go ahead and use as a Cleveland Guardians new. We're going to use that as a new Cleveland Guardians logo. And this is what we've got.
And maybe they could have named it, instead of the Banana Slugs, they could have called them the Cleveland Sewer Slugs and just had something overwhelm you with their disgustingness.
You mix and match. They're not the Cleveland Banana Slugs. Oh my gosh, Grump. Anyway,
I mean, it's a better name than Guardians. I hate the logo. I hate it.
Yeah, not a fan of that logo at all. It does look like a minor league logo. Alexander said, Grumpy, yeah, Campbell did coach the Dolphins, and he wasn't horrible.
Okay.
Hey. It does. He also saying it does look like a minor league logo. For certain it does.
True.
Alexander also said that it was narrated by Tom Hanks.
So how much money do they have to pay to roll that out? Tom Hanks ain't doing that for free.
Oh,
that much I can tell you.
Yeah, I don't dislike the idea of like, hey, we're naming it the Guardians. They already determined they were going to change the name. They didn't want Indians anymore. I think it pays homage to the first MLB player being a man of Indian descent, Native American descent, and being from Cleveland. I think it pays homage to that. If you've come to the conclusion that doesn't pay homage and that it's horribly racist or it's demeaning to them in any way capacity. Whatever, you've come to that conclusion. You're there. You wanted to change it. I'm not opposed to Guardian being the new name, but yikes, that logo is hideous.
My thing, does anyone care about Cleveland enough to really raise a stink about that logo? I don't know. They're not very good. They're usually never very good. I don't know. But the Guardians thing, they said, well, how did the Guardians come about? Well, supposedly there were guardians of some bridge that went over to the stadium or something. I don't know. Just stupid.
Have you not seen the image as to why it's named like that? I'll make sure I get it pulled there for you. But it's like an actual It's like a statue monument there that's in Cleveland.
Is it like a guy like in gear, like a guardian?
I'll pull it up for you, Grump, so you can go ahead and I'll show you what's going on here with it.
Okay.
It's like it actually like oversees and looks over like, hey, we're guarding the city. You know, we're guarding. This is what they're talking about. This is the Guardian that they're now paying homage to. This image right here and this statue. Hey, you like how it's got some graffiti down there towards the bottom of this?
No, well, you know.
Pretty awesome looking. But this is what it is. As you enter there, as you're entering, getting ready to go to the stadium, they're the guards.
What do the Guardians look like? Do they look like Indians?
No, they've got you. Can you see? Oh, it's kind of far away. Let me get you a closer picture, Grumpy. Let me go ahead and stop. I'll get you a closer picture.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, Grump. When I'm doing that, you got to talk a little bit, but that's fine.
Okay. I thought I was getting ready.
Don't worry about it. D-Cut, they're saying same guy who made the logo, made the Bridgeport Hounders logo, I bet.
Yeah. It's like a guy who's just, he's like in his first year of community college and he's taking a graphic design class and they're like, hey, whip something up. And they didn't realize that the school was selling it to these major league franchises to get players over there.
Can you see that better now, Grumpy?
Yeah, I see it a little bit bigger. I see it a little bit better there.
Let's do it here. Can you see this image right here? It's got almost like they've got so that's where the wings come from there on the Guardian. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's kind of neat. And again, I came up with it relatively quick. I'm just hated the logo design.
That's what happens when you rush something, though. You no need to rush it.
Yeah, and Alexander was saying, looks like the kid designed that. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Terrible. Like I said, first year of
King Felch, they're saying hi. How you doing there?
First of all, it's Fletch, not Felch.
Fletch.
You must have went to the Archie Bunker school of pronouncing the word Fletch. Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor, when he was in All in the Family, used to call the Reverend Felcher, but his real name was the Reverend Fletcher. Thank you very much, Archie Bunker Jr.
Thank you, Grump, there for the correction. I'm glad you've gone ahead and checked me. Checks and balances. Alexander said the Bridgeport Hounders have a better logo than that.
I don't know. They're both pretty bad.
Alexander said, should the IOC have delayed the Summer Olympics one more year? I can't get into it with no fans in attendance.
Thank you. Bingo. D-Cut hit the nail right on the head. Is it the Olympics if there are no fans and they do it like at 2:00 in the morning? To me, it's no. I haven't watched the Olympics at all.
I watched some yesterday, but I haven't had the enthusiasm. You talk about the numbers. The numbers way down there since they've started televising this on mainstream. Numbers have been way down, lower than it was for Rio for the Summer Olympics, lower than it was there in what was after Rio, Grump?
Rio was a long time ago. I mean, London, I think, was 2012.
Yep, London was 2012, and then 2016 was it?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I think the numbers are down significantly.
They're way down. I think there's a lot of reasons why, honestly. You have the social justice stuff that I just think people are just tuned off by it, honestly.
Rio was in 2016.
Okay, Rio was in 2016. You don't have any real stars. You used to have Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, guys like that. I mean, Simone Biles. I mean, yeah, she was good, but she didn't win anything last time.
No, she did. Simone Biles won.
Yeah, she won a couple silvers. She didn't win. She was supposed to dominate. She didn't.
No, she did dominate.
Most certainly she did not. She was expected to win every single gold medal. She didn't even win the all-around. She didn't.
I thought she killed it. Maybe
No.
my memory is kind of hazy on that one.
Your
All
memory is
I remember is Simone Biles. She was in the MLB All-Star Celebrity Game, and man, oh man, it's just like wherever she was playing on the field, the ball found their way to her, and she's never played baseball before, and I just kind of felt bad. She could never find a way to avoid the ball. It doesn't matter if she was playing in the outfield; the ball just always seemed to find its way to Simone Biles.
Okay, I refer to it as the suck zone. When you find a player who really sucks, the ball just finds them. If at least when I was coaching baseball, the worst kid on the team, the ball would always manage to find him. Always.
Okay.
In the worst moments.
I'm going to go ahead and share this for you just for memory purposes because your memory's hazy of the 2016 Olympics. She did win the all-around artistic gymnastics. She did win the team all around. She won the women's floor, the women's vault. All those were gold. She only had one of the items where she competed in was the balance beam where she finished bronze.
Okay, I thought she
won
did
4 golds, 1 bronze.
I thought she did not win the individual. I'm mistaken.
I thought she had done really well. I couldn't remember. It's so long ago. Now you're talking like 5 years. I was watching. You ever watch some of those Olympic sports and you're like, man, oh man, I could never do anything like this. Water polo is one of those. I can't swim that well. And let alone, could you imagine just like hovering in water for 10-minute quarters there? And you're like, oh man, they're yanking on each other like that. You've got to go ahead. I like how they move to try to get a little whip behind the ball, but they're all tall, 6'4" and above, all those individuals. They're all tall people in that water.
It's hard. That's a hard sport.
Yeah. Got it. Alexander said, when you have Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback, then yeah, you're going to suck.
I don't know. He goes to Tennessee, and he's been pretty successful there. Couldn't win anything in Miami. He goes to another team, and he's been pretty good. His thing, I don't think he's all that and a bag of chips, but he has been a winner since he's been with the Titans, and they couldn't win in Miami. I just think the culture's bad there.
I don't think
but it is turning around. Alexander, it is turning around with Brian Flores, without a doubt.
I don't think it has anything to do with like bad culture. They win in spite of Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, Grumpy. I mean, they've got obviously Derrick Henry, and now they've got 2 elite wide receiver threats there. They've got everything, and if they don't win next year, you could go ahead and because they've got excellent defense. If they're not winning and they're not extremely successful, it's not variable to coach. You can pinpoint exactly who that is and say, Ryan Tannehill, you're the reason why we're not winning this year.
Yeah, but their defense was bad last year. It was much better the year before. They were bad last year defensively. Terrible.
Speaking about some Guardian logos, and again, I'm not saying these are perfect, but these are better than whatever else they rolled out there. I mean, maybe this is a little busy here. Like, these could be a little busy. But, I mean, these are a lot better than the one they rolled out.
Why not the Cleveland Demon Spawn? Why not call them that? That's what those look like. They don't look like Guardians. They look like Demon Spawn. That one there looks like the old Hercules, the Disney Hercules movie logo.
That's what that statue looks like.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm just saying. I don't know. I thought that they rolled out was awful. Hey, go bold. Don't go where it's so plain Jane and looks rigid. It looks like you threw it together in GIMP or clip art or Photoshop in a matter of like 2 hours. That's not what a logo should look like. That being said, moving right along there. Eli said next, they're going to change the Minnesota Vikings because it's racist to the Nordic people there or something.
No, the Nordic people don't matter. So they're not going to change.
Well, hey, maybe they'll change the Cowboys and the Fighting Irish, and it goes on and on with these items here. Grumpy.
It's ridiculous.
Alexander also saying, TJ and Grumpy, boy, the Yankees found a new way to lose. Oh my God, I love it. A no-hitter through 8 innings, and they lose 5-4.
Yeah, I don't think he made it through 8. I don't think German made it through 8 innings. But yeah, I was going to mention that today. To me. You're bad when you have your pitcher throwing a no-hitter through just about 8 innings and you wind up losing. I mean, and it wasn't even like the game was close. They scored 5 unanswered runs at the end. Yankees are bad. That Aaron Boone's got to go.
How is he keeping his job this long? I mean, owners already come out and said, hey, we're awful.
You know why? Because George Steinbrenner isn't the owner. He would have been long gone. Oh, with just some of the weak-ass comments that he makes, man, forget it.
How about Verdugo, right? Hey, yeah. I hope he's in jail somewhere. Some minor threw and hit him with a ball.
Let me tell you something. Steinbrenner would never let you rip on his fans. He was smart like that.
Mm-mm-mm. Speaking of that, Grumpy, little bit of a controversy in the NHL here at the NHL draft. Grumpy, you know what I'm going to be talking about?
I do not.
Logan Mallioux, defenseman there for the London Knights, had a little bit of an issue we'll talk about. We'll kind of go through what happened. Long story short, he took a picture and a photo of a lady who he had sexual relations with, and shared it with people on his team when he was over there in Sweden. He was a minor at the time period when he did this. He was tried there in Sweden. He had to do community service and pay a fine and a fee there to the lady, I believe, or he had to pay a fee. And, just recently everything kind of got brought up. He had to issue an apology. The apology didn't suffice for what the victim had wanted, and they started to bring this up right around the NHL draft time period. And he came out there on I guess about a week before the draft actually started there, and Mallioux said, don't draft me, I'm going to use this year to kind of focus on me getting ready there. I'm going to go return back to the London Knights. We're going to put XYZ down. We're going to play well. Please do not draft me. And the Montreal Canadiens selected him around, I think it was 30th or 31st overall. And needless to say, the fans in Quebec were outraged about the Montreal Canadiens selecting Logan Mallioux.
You want to know how they'll stop being outraged? If the kid turns out to be a really good player, they won't say anything about it. That's the way fans are. You know what? Boys and girls? You want to know how you stop that? Stop taking nude selfies. Just stop it.
Well, what happened was he took a selfie of the lady she did not want to be taken as they were performing a sexual act, and he showed it there to his friends on the team, and that was the issue. So, and here's the thing. He was 17 years old at the time. Are we condoning what he did? Absolutely not. Not condoning what he did. That being said, kid deserves a second chance. I mean, those type of locker rooms, I can't even tell you the type of nonsense that goes on in those locker rooms. Again, if he was doing something where he was forcing himself on it, a completely different situation. But he took a picture there, did something dumb, should not have done it. And you see the fans out there saying, I cannot believe, think about what she's going through, the victim's going through right now, where he's been rewarded and coddled for this.
Doesn't sound like he's been rewarded and coddled to me.
I was about to say, it doesn't sound like that. He was a guy who was supposed to go in the mid, first round. He slipped to late first round. He had to go ahead and pay his fine, served his community service there, issued an apology. I'm not saying he's being coddled and rewarded there for it. The guy's not being rewarded based off of that. He actually got, hindered, I think, based off of it. And here's the thing. Guy deserves a second chance. And then that's the way the Montreal Canadiens are looking at this too, right? We're going to give him a second chance. We're going to be here to help him out through this time period. No issue with that.
Okay. He paid a fine. Whatever they ordered him to do, he did. He paid for his mistake. That's like saying someone who goes to jail for something should never get another chance. It's the same thing, right? I mean, just let it go. It is what it is. I mean,
they're trying to give Mark Bergevin, they're trying to give him all this crap there. I can't believe you drafted him. Oh, you're not taking into account.
People will forget it. It's just this, like I said, with the 24-hour news cycle, it'll be here today, gone tomorrow. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not condoning what he did, but he obviously paid a price. They didn't brush anything underneath the rug. He got caught. He was punished. He paid his punishment. That doesn't mean he should not have the opportunity to pursue a career. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what's the worst case scenario, right? He would have been drafted the year after, because as soon as everybody stops thinking about that, they see the talent that's out there on the ice. A big defenseman who skates well, who's got vision, can head man the puck, and he's got offensive ability. Green talks in every single sport. Green talks. If we think you have the talent and the red flags are not blaring enough, they're going to take a chance on you. They're going to take a risk on you for certain.
If he's good enough and performs well enough, all those naysayer fans are going to be on his side. That's just the way fans are, just the way they are.
Yeah.
And speaking about, sexual misconduct things, kind of under the radar, right? In the offseason, we had the Deshaun Watson issue with Houston. Well, the NFL is letting him go to training camp. So what does that mean? Tacitly, what the NFL is saying is, we don't care about these allegations. You're a big star. You can go out there and play. Yeah. No punishment for him. No punishment for him with all these. Now, here's the thing. Innocent until proven guilty. So, even though there was 27, 20, however many women there
26,
were,
27, whatever it was.
a lot. There were a lot, certainly more than this young man. And he did the right thing. He just kept his nose clean, shut his mouth, didn't say anything, and it just goes away after a while. No one's saying anything about it, except he said, "I still want to get traded," and that won't happen.
Maybe not this year. I think next year you could be maybe looked at to maybe be traded, but who knows? Maybe they'll say, "Hey, we're going to cut ties with you. We'll trade you."
He's got 5 more years on his contract.
Speaking a little bit more with some NFL news here, Grumpy. Got this regarding NFL players. If you are unvaccinated and you break any or you have any violation of the COVID-19 protocols, you could be looking at near a $15,000 fine for every single break and violation of COVID-19 protocol. Remember, some of these COVID-19 protocols include items such as you're not allowed to go eat out. You're not allowed to go to a bar. You're not allowed to go to a public area. After the end of the game, you're not allowed to go see family or anything of that nature. You're not allowed to, when you're at the practice facilities, you're not allowed to be in contact with individuals there. You got to maintain your bubble. You're not allowed to eat lunch with other individuals. And you're not, again, like in the weight room, as we talked about before, I can't remember the exact amount of feet you have to be away, but I know you're not supposed to be with the vaccinated players or the unvaccinated players specifically. So, you could be looking at, if they're going to enforce this very strictly, you could be looking at quite a few COVID-19 protocol breaks of violation of the COVID-19 protocol.
And I know a lot of players and I know people who have not been vaccinated, and they're like, because it's not FDA approved. And, that's a long process to get something like that to happen. What are they saying in essence to the players? Get vaccinated. And they said, you know what, you have to forfeit games this year. If you can't field the team, you're going to just forfeit games this year. We're not going to do it where good for the NFL. Last year they were able to move games from Sundays to Tuesdays and all this other thing because there were no fans involved. And I can understand that now because they're saying, they're going to have full stadiums this year. So, you just logistically, you can't do that anymore. So, from that aspect, I understand. Like I said, I'm vaccinated, but I'm not trying to tell somebody else that they should be vaccinated if they don't want to. That's a personal choice. But what the NFL and other sports leagues are saying now is you want to play, you should get vaccinated. Now, there's been 2 coaches, 2 offensive line coaches, by the way, one for the New England Patriots, one for the Minnesota Vikings, who've decided to take the year off because they don't want to get vaccinated and they don't want to follow the protocols, which, hey, that's a ballsy stance, but they put their money where their mouth was. So,
Yeah, Dennis, I can't remember last name for Minnesota, and I'm not sure who it is from New England, Grump.
Yeah, I forgot their names too. They're offensive line coaches. Who really cares?
Yeah, it's funny, right? I think it was DeAndre Hopkins came out there and said he made a tweet saying that it's really making him question, his future in the NFL because I don't think he's vaccinated, and he said it's really making me question my future in the NFL. What to think about these type of items here. Now that I'm seeing all the ramifications and what I'm going to have to do there on a day-to-day basis. Of course, he deleted then tweet. But it's definitely one of those odd ones.
He should have deleted the tweet. If that's the way he really feels, he shouldn't bow to public pressure. If he feels that I don't want to play football anymore because I don't want to get vaccinated and I don't feel that's right for me, well, then you know what? Just do that. It's still a free country, I think. You're allowed to do that if that's the way you feel.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be. I know even Deshaun Watkins said it's kind of odd to think that we're going to have to be penalized there. Let's say, for example, if one of the aforementioned here unvaccinated players causes an outbreak on our team, then we lose. We have to forfeit the game. And again, I understand, right?
They don't even test, but they're not even going to test any of the players who've been vaccinated.
Which is silly, in my opinion, because how many times are we seeing now where people who are vaccinated are testing positive as well?
I don't care.
Not care or not, but why are we going to test the unvaccinated players if not also testing the vaccinated players? Because vaccinated players are also getting COVID.
Okay. And thank goodness there's not a whole lot of people dying anymore from that. And, everyone who has died, hey, feel terrible about it. but you're not seeing a whole lot of people dying from COVID anymore, which is positive. They're just testing positive. I mean, that's how you build up antibodies anyway. So, I just don't know how they want to go like this. They can do it, but you know what they're going to say? The players can say, well, you know what? That's not in our CBA. And they can. No, that's all in their rights to say that. That's not been negotiated. And this is coming from somebody who has been vaccinated. I mean, I think you should get vaccinated. That's just my own personal opinion. Lower your risk for anything serious happening to you, but it's everybody's choice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I don't want to talk about politics.
I was going to say, I don't want to talk too much about COVID. I mean, we just mentioned it because, again, it's all over the news about it. I honestly, with the entire COVID, I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I really am. I'm just like, I'm ready to be done with the COVID talks. I'm ready for it to be in the rearview mirror. But that was something also to go ahead and mention. We got some comments I'm going to go ahead and roll through here too, Grump. And there's one more item I want to hit on about the U.S. men's basketball team and Coach Popovich. He's cashed. He's finished. We'll get to it. Eli said, I do agree with D-Cut. The Olympics are so bad. Every game is at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. No fans, bad commentators, and it's buried through NBC's collection of bad sports content. I'm glad he mentioned it real quick. We were watching some sort of fencing. It was like a special type of fencing, and you could tell the individual who was commentating on this, who was supposed to be knowledgeable in the sport, had no knowledge at all of what was going on, and she had no enthusiasm. And like, as a fan, I don't watch fencing. This is your chance to capture me as being a fan of fencing for the next week or 2 weeks that I'm going to be, that it's going to be aired and it's going to be put on the public station. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to be so gung-ho about fencing that is the greatest thing since sliced bread, that your enthusiasm bleeds over into me, and now I'm a huge fencing fan. And again, she was just talking like a monotone like this, and I sounded like I was reading off of a teleprompter. It was awful. Absolutely hideous, the commentator they had there for the fencing. And again, I've noticed that for a few of the sports.
I mean, think about some of the sports they have now. Skateboarding is now an Olympic sport. Surfing. Talk about a ridiculous sport. Surfing. I mean, talk about an unlevel playing field. What if you don't get a good wave? Okay? What if this guy's got a great wave going? He gets to be able to score higher points. Every wave is different. You're at the whim of the sea. I mean, I don't know. It's so stupid. All these extra idiotic events that they put in there, it's just dumb. Just dumb and stupid. It's unwatchable. It's unwatchable.
And the thing is, I usually like to try to watch the Olympics because, for the most part, these are people who really don't get paid all that much. They get once every 4 years, they get a chance to showcase their abilities and what they love to do. So I try to watch those individuals because I like it. And again, you're usually people that, put, hey, I want to spread the love for this in particular sport. It might be a smaller sport, but I want to spread the love there for it. So I try to go ahead and pay attention there too. But it has been tough to watch. Honestly, I didn't even know the Olympics were going on until yesterday.
The numbers they're dismal. They're dismal.
Yeah.
And what a bath NBC is going to take.
You're not kidding there. Aaron G also saying, I'm laughing. Thanks, boys. Laughing my ass off there. I do appreciate it there, Aaron. Alexander also said, spot on about the Olympics, man. It's not fun. I can't get into it. Not even the basketball. Here's
the thing. America's going to lose in basketball. They're going to lose. Without a doubt, they are going to lose. You see all the guys getting drafted now. We used to just be able to walk on the court and beat everybody. I remember it was a big deal when we lost to the Russians in 1972 when they screwed us out of that gold medal against Russia. I remember watching that. And now it's like half our guys don't even care. They're out there. They don't even care. When Coach K was coaching the team, he brought a camaraderie back to the program, which had once again spiraled downhill. And, I remember when John Thompson was coach and they got a bronze medal, it's like nobody even cared. Coach K comes in, everybody wants to play on the team. And, then we go winning gold medals all the time. And now you're seeing it. He's gone. Popovich is there. And we're just a disaster. It's just a disaster.
Popovich is finished. Straight up, Popovich is finished. And this is a game. You talk about an ultimate collapse, a choke fest by the United States team. They were leading this game, and I'm sorry, I got the end score wrong when I originally told you this beforehand. They were leading at one point in this game, 74-67 against France. They're up 74-67. France finished ahead 89-79. Holy choke artist. Unbelievable.
I really feel that other teams play more for their countries than we do. In all the sports.
Team too. I mean, it's not like we're rolling out there a whole bunch of players who are like, hey, this is a garbage player here. There, we've got a pretty stout lineup. I know some people opted out, but still, you still have your Kemba Walkers, you still have your Jaylen Browns, your Marcus Smarts, your Donovan Mitchells. I mean, that team is still very stout.
I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm rooting for France. Good for you, France.
Okay, France is a good team. That being said, I thought they were probably going to finish in silver. I thought we probably would win. I mean, I thought we were going to walk to the finals the way we always do. This is the first time. This is the first time the U.S. men's team has lost in the Olympics since 2004.
Well, get ready for more losses in this Olympics. We were terrible in the wall. We were terrible in the exhibition up to it. Terrible.
Man, oh man, hard to believe.
Those ratings will be good for Brazil against whoever in the final. That's going to draw big numbers for NBC.
I'm sorry, I do want to apologize. The score was not 89 to 79. The end score was 83-76 in favor there of France. That was an old game I pulled up. I thought I did, but still, they blew a lead like that when you're up 74-67. And you blow a lead like that down the stretch to lose 83-76. That's not something they go on a 16-2 run to beat the United States. Man, oh man, that's sad.
Oh, well,
that's not something you'd expect from a Hall of Fame coach to shit down a leg like that.
Maybe he's a Hall of Fame coach, but maybe that's because he had Duncan, Ginobili and Parker on the team and all those years. Because when he doesn't, and before that, David Robinson. Before that, he was just a guy in the front office, and after they left, he sucks. So once again, as I always say, players win games, not coaches.
No, you just always wait to find a way to jettison that in the conversation, don't you?
Because it's true.
D-Cut said, I need a suggestion, guys. If I wanted to start watching soccer, which league should I start watching and why? Grump, I'll let you take this first because I think you might have a different opinion than I do.
Yeah, there's a couple of leagues, and you'll be able to watch this year. And, of course, it's availability too, right? ESPN Plus is going to be showing Spanish league games. And
that's La Liga, by the way.
That's La Liga, which is Spanish league games. You're going to have Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, really good. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what. It's all European soccer, by the way. So those are the club teams, Spanish League, and also the English League, which is on NBC Sports Network. Those are probably the two best, most balanced leagues going. If you're looking at the German League, it's Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, and maybe a couple other teams. French League is Paris Saint-Germain.
Which one?
I'll go since you're going to be able to watch everything in English. I'm going to go with the Spanish League. They play a much more appealing game of soccer, honestly. But the most important league that you need to watch is Champions League, UEFA Champions League. That's the league to watch. Those are the best club teams from all the countries playing, and it's sporadic. It starts, I believe, in October and goes through May.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say the EPL, right? You want to be able to, again, even though the Spanish leagues, they're going to have people with English announcers, I think it's a little easier. I like the coverage a little bit better in the EPL. I think they do a better job covering, and it's cool, right? You wake up on Saturday and Sunday morning. If you wake up early, you could just go ahead and flip the TV on, and they're no longer covered. Are they still under NBC Sports Network, or are they changing? It's all under Peacock.
They're still with NBC.
Okay, they're NBC Sports Network and Peacock. And again, sometimes if you have streaming services, you can go ahead and find majority of the games there for free. You don't really have to worry about paying additional fees if you have some of the streaming services. I just like the coverage that they have, and you can watch it there on Saturday and Sunday mornings. So I like the time frame too. That being said, moving right along here, grumpy old man. Alexander said, when you have everything perfect, and from your point of view, you look good. And what happened last season in the playoffs, Tannehill got exposed, and he couldn't raise his game to another level.
Yeah, I don't think he's a great quarterback. But he didn't hurt himself. I just never thought I didn't think he was worth drafting 17th by Miami the year he was picked. in the first round. I don't disagree with them letting him go. I just wish, if I'm a Miami fan, I just wish my quarterback was better. I just don't think that Tua Tagovailoa is that good. They should have drafted Justin Herbert.
Alexander also said Cashman is loyal to Aaron Boone.
What a nightmare. What a nightmare.
And then also Alexander saying, how about the Canadiens front office not being able to answer a single question about that pick in an interview? I feel like that's a really easy one to answer, right? Hey, we know there's been issues there in the past, and we've spoken to Logan. We've spoken to Logan Mallioux about it, and we kind of have an understanding of what happened and transpired, and we're going to make sure that he's got a support system, and we don't believe that just one mistake here in the past when you're technically a juvenile should define every single possible future employment opportunity or every opportunity you have. I mean, we don't approve of those actions, and I know Logan's apologetic for that too. But we thought he was a great talent here, and he seems remorseful for the actions and what he did. Boom, so simple.
Yeah, hopefully the kid just learned a life lesson at the age of 17. His thing, you're going to learn life lessons throughout your life, and he made a mistake, and hopefully he learns from it. I mean, I'm a big believer in second chances. So.
Eli also saying everybody's blaming Montreal, but multiple teams were rumored to want to select him in the second and the third round. Also, I'm pretty sure he said that him and the girl were on okay terms as of now. Yeah, I think they are now, but originally I thought it was very convenient as to when she started kind of touting this up, because this happened months ago from my understanding. But I think they're on okay terms as of right now. But could you really blame a team if they think the guy's got ultimate talent and they think he's remorseful for what he did? It's not like he sexually forced herself on her, because what they did was consensual, they said. I just can't believe that Montreal's front office was so ill-equipped to answer any questions about the selection.
Who cares? If they ignore it, it'll go away. It'll go away. Believe me, in time it'll go away. And here's the thing: talent wins out. Every single time, talent wins out. Every single time. Look at how many guys get so many chances because they're talented, regardless of what they do. I mean, like I said, I'm not condoning what the guy did. I'm just telling you that talent wins out in the end, always.
Every single time I think about how talent wins out, I think about one instant every single time. And again, speaking about football, this is football related too. I think about this clip. I'm gonna pull it for you, grumpy old man. I think about this clip every single time about how talent wins out. This is about the most damning clip I think you could have ever happen to an individual. And, Joe Mixon was able to fight this off. I just want you to take a look at this. We've gone over this before here. He has the altercation with his girlfriend at the time, and not good at all. She kind of, oh, okay. If that doesn't tell you talent wins out, that's horrific. And it happens all. I mean, like, we look back to the annals. That happened a while ago in 2016, but he was drafted in the second round. That's pretty hard to come back from. And again,
does anyone even talk about that anymore?
No.
That's my point. And that's what it'll be with this kid too. Eventually, no one will even talk about it. They won't even talk about it. Like, is anyone talking about Deshaun Watson and all those girls? Nope. If you just lay low, keep your mouth shut, it all goes away. That's what happens. That's the way society is now. In the 24/7 news cycle, there's always somebody else doing something that they just move on to the next thing. That's just the way it is.
As long as you don't go ahead and stir up the hornet's nest too much, they just move on to the next thing. They move on to the next piece of next article that's going to get them clicks and going to get them paid.
By the time this guy starts playing for Montreal, I'm not saying no one will remember. Somebody will bring it back up. But once again, if he's a good player, all these people in uproar in Canada, they won't say anything about it.
In Quebec, more specifically there. And Eli also saying there, NFL will enforce 1 to 2 of the fines after the first couple of weeks. No one is going to be fined because no one will remember or care. Talking about the $15,000 fines there for breaking COVID protocol.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, because think about too, they're so anal about everything. It's just like they don't allow players to wear the cleats that they want. They'll go ahead and fine them if they wear a special cleat during the game, or a cleat that's not approved by the team and approved by the league. And you're just kind of like, okay, let them do what they want.
Just remember, the only thing the NFL cares about is how they look to the masses and making sure that they keep the money machine going. That's all they care about. They could care less about the players. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about anything. Keep that money rolling in. And how do we look? How do we look to everyone? That's all they care about.
D-Cut also saying, going to be hard there to monitor every player unless the NFL is hiring a bunch of observers.
Well, what they're going to do is test every single player who has not been vaccinated every single time they go in. But if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to be tested. That's what I believe what it is.
Alexander also said, I swear the NFL really has got to get their crap together. This needs to stop.
Well, and I'll just say it again, just like I said before. They'll do whatever it is that makes them look good, and they're just going to keep the train moving. I mean, you think about they really had a lot of issues last year with COVID, and they got every game played. They didn't push the season out. Everyone said it couldn't be done, and they didn't put any restrictions on players, lock them up like the NHL did, and they got through the season. So tough to criticize.
D-Cut said, my work is requiring everybody gets vaccinated once the full FDA approval happens. If you don't, you'll be terminated. Do you think the leagues will go this way too?
Yes. And here's the thing. I work in a hospital, okay? But I'm retiring in 5 weeks, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, like I said, I've been vaccinated. I always get my vaccinations. And if you don't, I know if you in the hospital system that we work at, if you don't get the flu shot, you're terminated. And now, as of September 15th, if you don't get the COVID shot, you will also be terminated. And that's before FDA approval. And I know people who work there who are just, I'm not taking it because it's not FDA approved. And these are healthcare professionals. I mean, it hasn't hurt me yet. So, I didn't used to have, I'm normal. So.
Oh, goodness. I don't know if they're going to kick people out of the leagues if they don't have it once it's FDA approved. That'd be, oh, man.
They'll just say that they can do that. Well, I don't know if they could say they'll be terminated, that the players will be terminated, but they're going to put it in the next CBA or something, some type of rider that's saying you have to be vaccinated. They'll bow to the pressure. They will bow to the pressure.
Eli also said here, I would say probably the Premier League is your best bet. But like Grumpy said, you've got La Liga, which is Spanish League, Serie A, which is the Italian League, are good. MLS is on ESPN Plus, which is the American League, but it's poor, but the quality is poor. You know what I compare the MLS to? Imagine college football, where, again, the game is not as good as the quality of the NFL, except there's no fans and there's no passion. So you've got the diluted quality, but without the fans and without the enthusiasm, which makes it just an altogether quality product.
Yeah, the Italian League, I forgot to mention, they're also on ESPN Plus. They're another league that, and these leagues, it all depends on money. Whatever league, what people don't realize is in soccer, world football, whatever league has the most money, they buy the best players. So that's why their leagues are the best. The Spanish League was by far the best 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody else even close. And then the English Premier League signed a big deal with NBC Sports, so they were getting all that money, and then now they have money to throw at the players, so more players are going in. But it always shifts back and forth all the time. Now you're going to see the Spanish League and the Italian League are both on ESPN. More money coming in. You're going to see them be able to buy more players. But those are 3 really good leagues. And I only picked those because most people can get ESPN Plus and NBC Sports.
Yeah, and again, most of the people who want, hockey are going to be having ESPN or ESPN Plus in some capacity. Alexander also says there, TJ Grump, Tua didn't have a horrible season, but he had a better rookie year than Josh Allen. And also Herbert benefited from having Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams. Come on. How can you not succeed? Tua had nobody.
Yeah, okay. Herbert wasn't even going to play last year, except that the San Diego medical staff screwed up Tyrod Taylor in the worst way.
His lung or something like that.
Yeah, they punctured his lung. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, think about that, right? Team physicians, right? Team physicians. We don't want to get into that right now. But yeah, so you're looking at Herbert. Yeah, he had some weapons, but that you can tell that the kid's got the arm strength. He's got everything. I don't think Tua has the arm strength. I just don't. I don't think his touch is real good. He's small and he's injury prone. They had to play him last year. He didn't play as good as Fitzpatrick did. He really didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, and he had a better rookie year than Josh Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen was, raw as uncooked meat when he came in from Wyoming. This kid played at Alabama at the highest level. Who would you rather have, Josh Allen or Tua Tagovailoa?
I'd rather have Josh Allen than
There
Tua,
you go.
and I'd rather have Justin Herbert than Tua too. That being said, moving right along there, Herbert did have more offensive weapons around him. That being said, the Dolphins defense was outstanding. And so, hey, your team, ideally, if you could string together a few drives, you should be able to tire the hell out of the opposing team's defense, and it should be easy, easy pickings then when that happens.
No
But
running game, no offensive line.
yeah, the Dolphins have had quite a few picks. I think they've had plenty that add, the offensive line depth, to add to the skill position depth or lack thereof. So there should be no complaints after next year.
I think they've mismanaged their drafts the last 2 years. With all the picks they had, they should have got better players.
Alexander also saying, I didn't even know about the Joe Mixon situation.
Because it happened a couple of years ago.
2016.
No big deal. No big deal. Nothing to see here, folks.
Yep. Hey, that never gets mentioned. All you see is Joe Mixon with the ear-to-ear smile as they say, hey, he does this well, does that well. Everybody forgets about that little incident, though. D-Cut, they're saying, how's the quality of life in North Carolina? New York has turned it into Detroit.
I love it here. I absolutely love it here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's a reason why I moved out.
We covered quite a bit here, Grumpy Old Man, today. Next time we're going to be going live is Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or let's do this, Grumpy. Let's make it Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it gives me some time to get set. I won't be running as late if we go 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That being said, Grump, what else do you have to say before we wrap things up here today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Well, thank you, Grumpy Old Man. And thank you, everybody who tuned in and listened here to the podcast today and the live stream. Again, we go live every single Thursday. We'll be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, Grumpy. Thank you, everybody who tuned in.